that. Okay, I have another point I want to make. I think there is an interesting conversation that wait, you just don't look so happy that the next point is coming. Would you like to object? Do you still consent of continuing?
I'm ready.
Great. So I think like I think you also agree with that. This at some point, even if you like you've created this boundary, but then you basically kick that boundary down the hill. I don't know if that's the correct saying, but you basically then started talking about market value, like in that sociopathic sense. And what was happening was that you were basically, I think, agreeing that it's, and I agree with that as well. And I think it's crazy not to agree with that. That obviously, if you just look at the statistic, that most men, all things equal, will prefer a woman with less sexual partners in most countries, in most societies in the world. Am I correct about that? That you think that as well? Like just a statistic, like as a statistical fact?
That is a fact.
Yes. And it was crazy that your partner was like trying to argue against that, I think. But
It's just not true.
Yeah, so it was like it's not only not true, it's like obviously not true. Like it's
yeah.
And also like it was crazy of you not like I don't want to criticize you all the time, but I mean like just even
I won't bite. It's okay.
No, I don't want to like shit on you the whole time. Like, but what I mean is like just even having this conversation is insane because like we could just open up Wikipedia or I don't know where this knowledge is written down, that it is a fact that most men want a woman with less with less sex partners. So it would be crazy to even have a conversation about that. So it can't be like the conversation can't be about the fact of the matter, what most men would say, because that would be like the most shortest conversation ever because you could just look that fact up. So I don't know why why even that topic was even talked about. Like it makes absolute. I think mostly it was because of your partner.
It's because it's well, it also has to do with we couldn't get past these types of things because my partner was trying to be like the stalwart in like the complete opposite direction where they were saying things they don't even believe in that aren't even true just so that they could disagree.
Yeah.
But yeah, I it is important because for them to talk about that, because they're saying because most men will prefer a woman who has a lower body count in most places of the world. Because of that, that means that women should have a lower body count, and that like they're and also those men are right, and there's something wrong with those women. And so
I disagree.
I think that their whole attitude is a self-fulfilling prophecy. They're saying that there's you have to appeal to the norm, and that your value should come from what the most amount of people think. And I was trying to point out that that doesn't make any sense because you only need one person to want to fuck you. You only need one person to want to marry you. And so maybe it might take more effort to find that person, but you can be whoever you want to be and work harder. You can be one of those people that turns their face you know those people that turn their face into a troll face?
We will go there. We will go there.
They get all those tattoos and piercings. You can even do that, and you can find another troll person to marry. Sure. It just takes more work.
Let's talk about that later. Let's stick with the meta conversation about the debate, because I don't think that your opponents were actually doing that. I think your opponents were multiple times they were saying we're not making a prescriptive statement, we're making a descriptive statement. They were always taking like the gotchas. But at some point in the middle, that might be a lie, but none of their arguments was prescriptive. Like all of their arguments were completely descriptive.
Like that's true. Like that's because my partner would not allow that's because my partner, like you said, would not allow the conversation to get past that. So we had to keep arguing about what reality is. But if we can agree that that's reality, then the logical next step, which we couldn't fucking get to, which is so frustrating, is okay. So why are you pointing that out? Because in that case, then what they're doing is the same as being like, well, it's just FBI crime statistics. I don't know. I'm just presenting you with the data. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with black people, that they're dangerous. I'm just showing you the data.
But I would have wished.
But you're showing me the data because you think that. we should do something about black people. That's what you're saying.
But two things, like I would have just wished for, I don't know, a moderator or you or I don't know who, but someone to just say, hey, come on, like let's just leave that topic. Let's just say, man, this is like would be the most dumbest conversation to have, like to talk about that. Like, let's just admit that obviously this is a market trend, like what they were saying like the whole time. Obviously this is a market trend. Obviously most men want that. And at some point he even told you, like at that point I think you got angry. He told you, let me extend an olive branch since you have already lost the first part of the debate. He said to you,
what reality is.
No. He said, let me extend you an olive.
I know they framed that as a
no,
loss,
wait,
but it's
man,
not.
mate. I'm just telling you what they were saying. But they were basically saying, let's move on to the prescriptive. Like, let's move on to the normative claim. That's what they were offering you. And you, but you know what? You remember what you said? You said, how do we lose? Blah, 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 blah. You fucking retard. Blah, blah. You're so retarded. You're so retarded. That's what you said.
Because
and I'm like, I'm sitting there when this guy asked you that. When this guy asked you that, I'm sitting there and I'm like, finally, an interesting conversation is happening. Could be happening. And you basically slap the olive branch out of his hand and call him a retard and just say fuck you and just play the, I don't know.
By saying, okay, so I just did it again to you while you were saying that, because you're fuck you. When you tell me if you're gonna lose on that because because my partner is disagreeing on what reality is and pretending that like, but it's not a fact that most men claim to want women with less of a body count and theoretically want women with less of a body count, even though they'll marry any fucking women in reality. They claim that, and that's what they prefer, even though that's a fact. That's a fact. That doesn't mean I lose. And so when you present that to me like I lost, then I have to fight you on whether or not that's even a loss. You're not agreeing to move past that. You're saying, because I'm telling you we agree, and that's not a loss because I'm having a different conversation where that's already agreed upon.
But when he says you,
presenting that as a loss.
When he says you guys have lost, that is kind of correct because he's like saying you as a group, and your partner has like talked about it for like, I don't know, 1 hour at that point. At that point, it was already like 1 hour. And I agree that that's not a loss. Like, I agree, like from your perspective, it is not a loss because it would be even stupid to have a conversation about that. Like, that's not what the debate actually is about. Like, it makes no sense to have a debate about that.
I was in a difficult position where I had a partner that was making the conversation stupid, and then I had like the opponents that had a cakewalk and then just got to insult me because of my association with my partner, and we didn't get to have the actual conversation.
Sure. So now the interesting part would have been the prescriptive, right? So, and that's where basically I want to talk about. That's what I want to talk about with you. If you still have the energy.
I'm getting tired. I don't have much more energy. I don't have that much more energy.
Okay, that's fine. Like, we don't have to talk about it. But I think I also disagree with you on that. So yeah, that's that. So I don't know. We can stop the stream at this point if you want.
I think that you should do what is good for you, and you should learn the skills you want to learn, follow the path you want to follow in life, and then who you are should dictate who you should seek out to date. And I don't think that you should instead cater who you are to the mass appeal of most people. I think that it's just work harder to find a partner who actually likes you for who you are. That is the solution. If you want to be a weirdo, fine. Just means that when you're a weird troll person with like tons of face tattoos and like the gauges in your nostrils and in your lips and your tongue is cut in half, then it just means that you need to work harder, or maybe you don't even have to work hard because you'll be already pre-selected into the community of weird troll people, and you'll be able to find a partner. But it just means that your options are more limited, but it doesn't matter. Like there's still somebody who wants to fuck you.
Okay, let me I just have to make a comment. So that's something that happens in real life as well. Like, people are giving like after a certain point of time in the discussion, they're giving a signal that they're basically tired and they're not able to continue this conversation, and then
I am
also
able
don't
to
want to.
continue the
Let me
conversation.
finish my let me finish my fucking sentence. And they're not able to. They're giving the signals that they're tired and they don't want to continue and they're not really interested and it's so boring and blah blah blah. Okay, that's all like the signals that I'm getting from you as well. And then I'm asking, man, do you want to continue?
Getting like criticized by a
Come on,
disapproving mother.
man,
Like getting
man,
nitpicked and criticized
man,
by a fucking disapproving mother. It's
and
so obnoxious.
then I'm asking you for validating or disapproving of you the signals that you're giving, if I'm correct in reading them, and if you want to continue, and you don't give me an answer. Basically, you just continue to talk about it, and now
Yes,
I am basically sitting
that is an
here.
answer.
I'm wondering, like, I have to ask you again now, dude. Do you want me to? Do you want me to? Do you want me to continue to engage
Did I
with that?
fucking continue or
is
not?
that,
Do you think
or
I'm a
is
child?
or I don't know. You're a little bit acting like a child right now.
I made a choice.
You could have just said yes. Let's continue. Like that's. I think that's yeah. That's so weird. Like I don't know why
That's
why
what
you
I
wouldn't
did.
do that. No, you just made a monologue and could have been his closing statement as well. Like it could be fine, like if it's just your closing statement. But if you want to engage, like then let's go, like let's do it. But this half-ass, oh, this is so boring, and oh, I'm so tired, and oh, I don't want to do this. Actually, this is like it's
You're making me
disingenuous.
crazy. Just fucking engage it. If you want to continue, then you continue too. Let's fucking go.
So
Shut the fuck up.
you want to
Stop
do this?
criticizing me on such
All
a
right,
fucking minute level.
I
Instead of
want
criticizing
your.
me, like, what do you want to happen right
Are
now?
you not a
What do you
fan?
want to happen?
You know what I want to happen? I want enthusiastic consent. That's what I want. Okay, I don't want.
Not gonna happen.
Okay, then let's stop the conversation. That's okay.
I'm
Like
continuing.
that's totally fine.
I'm consenting exactly how I'm consenting.
Okay.
If you want to stop, then you can fucking stop.
Okay, so you're consenting. You want to continue this conversation.
I think forcing
Great.
somebody to give enthusiastic consent is a form of rape.
No, I don't think that's how it works. Like asking someone, hey, do you actually want this? Like, tell me if you actually want this. Please tell me if you don't want this. Please tell me. That's that's like the opposite of rape. That's like someone trying to not rape someone.
I think that often turns into a form of rape.
Bro,
that is
I would have been surprised if you wouldn't also interpret that as rape. So you're completely in line with what I would expect. Like, come on, man. Like, let's not make like a shit show out of this.
Come on, man. Let's not make a shit show out of this. Sounds like something a rapist would say.
Okay.
We do like each other. We're not gonna like each other during the stream, okay?
I'm not like. It's not about liking or disliking. It's.
I like you.
I think like that's the nice thing about this. Like, it's a very clean environment where we don't have to like, we don't have to care about the other person's feelings, and it's not really important if I like you or not, if I have sympathies for you or not. Like, that's not really like, that's the nice thing about this, right? Where in the normal world, it is actually important, right? And you don't want to like make someone you actually like, make someone you care about like really mad because like you're really pedantic about a point, right?
I'm gonna criticize myself for you right now because what
Sure.
I just did when I tell you I like you,
Yeah.
what I'm doing is called coercive control. I didn't do it on purpose, but that's what it is. I'm trying to control you by like, no, I like you, and you're like, you have to, it is coercive control.
Yeah, I mean, and it is working. If someone is like, it's telling you that they like you, obviously, if you feel like some form of responsibility for that vulnerability that they've opened, like
you wouldn't want me to stop liking you. You wouldn't want me to stop liking you, right? So
probably, yeah, probably, yeah, could be.
So
yeah.
we're both raping each other.
Please, like I really like. I watched the other day. I tuned into the Mr. Girl hotline, and there was this one caller. He said that he criticized Mr. Girl also for like using this word so generously. Let's call it like that. And I agree. Like, I really don't like this. in German, there is like a distinction between. I was really surprised by Americans calling what they call robbing. Like in saw like a video on YouTube. I got robbed in Colombia, and then you see like they got pickpocketed, and you call that robbing. And in German, you would never call that robbing. You would call that stealing. Like we have a distinction between stealing and robbing. I don't know if that's the case in America as well, but I think like the idea of like violence being involved is like a pretty heavy distinction, and that's why I don't like the this broad use of the term rape. Um,
Yeah, I agree with
just
Mr.
as a
Earl.
side,
Oh, big
yeah.
surprise.
Big surprise. Okay,
Big surprise.
okay. Since we've now basically, I feel like we're back on track. So what you've basically said is that you don't like that people are making their choices of partners dependent on what society thinks about them. Like it shouldn't matter what society thinks about them. Have I like I know it's a very big simplification of what you've said, but
Yeah,
is it
right.
more or less correct? Yeah. Okay. So but I think yeah, and I think I agree, and I think your partners also agreed with that. They've also said no, but I just coincidentally agree with society. And we could obviously argue that that's not actually the case, and that they're being pressured into like agreeing with society, and that they actually just want that out of like societal pressure or like wanting, yeah. But I don't believe that. I think like at least it is that unconscious that it has like merit that they say, I actually also don't want that. Like it's not only because society said it's bad to be with a girl that has like had hundreds of sex partners before.
Yeah, but that's
and
what
then
I'm saying is if
what you're saying
that
basically
person,
doesn't apply, right?
no, but that person is just not going to be my partner. Like that doesn't matter what they think because they're not interested. We're not aligned. People that are aligned with my values, people who are aligned with me on a personal way, are the people who should be my partners. So I shouldn't have to align myself the whole point, the whole prescriptive point that the conversation didn't get into is that women should align themselves with the needs of men should align themselves with the needs and demands of women, except I guess they probably wouldn't even make that. I probably would have been able to get them saying like by saying, oh, you have to be what women want, and then they're going to give a presentation of, oh, well, women want this, and I'm gonna be like, actually that's not what women want, or or what if that isn't what women want? But whatever. Yeah,
But
what are we even saying?
But what I mean is like what's the like we have had the like the descriptive part is gone now, and now we're talking about the prescriptive part. And what we're basically saying is that now basically the question that we're asking is, are these men correct for choosing the way that they're choosing? Like, is society like correct? Is it actually like, maybe we could ask the question, is it morally wrong to deny to not be with a woman that has had too many sex partners? Like, is it morally that would be an interesting question, right? Or the other question could be
yeah. So like, and we want to have that.
Yes, sure. Just let me give you the second one as well, and then you can choose. Then you can just choose. One second. Like the second question that we could ask is, and you've also pointed to that, is it actually in their best interest to do that? Like, right? Like there will be a second part. I think you're equally as interested
basically
in.
The same.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So
no.
like,
No. It's not the same thing at all.
So like, yeah, those are I could have those both at the same time very easily, but
You
I
shouldn't.
think that like so like that's what also really frustrates me is like that sounds like a easy conversation for me to have, but I doubt it's going to be that easy. And like most of this debate could have, like, we're talking about like you're giving me criticisms about how I talk about things, but like we're not actually getting to like the core disagreements. What the core disagreements do exist, and like it feels very like you're
I think
trying
that's
to
where they
force me
are.
into a position.
No. I think these two that's where we're going to have our core criticisms. It is, and our core disagreements probably. I'm from what you've said in the debate. I think that's where we're going to disagree. So
I think
the
that
first question is it morally wrong? Like if I decide not to go on a date with a girl because I'm like, man, she has been with so many men, I don't want to be with her. Is that morally wrong?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Okay, then there we don't disagree. And then the other question would be, is it actually in my best interest to not be with
It
a girl?
depends on what you want.
Sure. Is it? Yes. It depends on what I want, but so the question would be, obviously, since we're talking in general terms, mostly in general, like, would I be mostly fine with, like, statistically mostly fine with actually going that way? You know, since we're like talking about, since this is a debate, right? This is a debate, and like now we are having this debate, right? Right now we are having the prescriptive debate, and because of
Not
that,
yet.
the I think right now we're having it because, like, because of
yet.
that, okay, because of that, we are. It makes no sense for us to say, well, depends. For you, yes. For you, no. No, if we are talking about a prescriptive statement, we have to think about, like, all of society, or all persons, like, or people in general, right? That's what
It depends
prescriptive
on what you
debates
want.
would be.
What do you think is going to happen that you don't want if you date a woman? Is it simply the fact that she has had those many people will make you unhappy? Is that what you're saying?
No, basically, like, let's ask another question, another prescriptive question. Is college good? Like, is it good to go to college?
No. We're gonna
Like,
stick to this one thing.
yeah, but I'm just trying
So
to.
is a woman?
No, no,
So
no. I'm
what is
just
the
trying to make
thing?
an
What no?
analogy.
What is the thing? What is the thing that is bad that will happen if you marry a woman who has a 50 body 70 body count? What is the bad thing? Is it that you're going to feel bad about her having had a 70 body count? If that's true, then you shouldn't marry her because
I will get to
unless you
that.
want to work on that.
I will
Unless you
get
want
to
to
that.
work on that, you shouldn't marry her. If
I
the
will get
thing
to
is
that.
that you're worried that she'll cheat on you, then maybe a woman who has a 70 body count is more likely to cheat on you, but that doesn't necessarily mean that she is likely to cheat on you. So you need to figure that out with her.
But
If she's a valid option otherwise, you should just figure that out.
but yeah, but
It's not
that's why the problem that you're running into is, like, you're just creating all of these cases where one option is correct, and so we're asking a question: is having a girl with a 100 body count, is that a good thing? Like, is a girl that has had like hundreds of boyfriends and hundreds of sexual partners, is that a good
okay.
thing, right? Wait,
It is
in a
not inherently
prescriptive,
good or
man,
bad.
let me please finish. This is a prescriptive general question that we're asking. Just
Yes.
like we could ask generally, just like we could ask, is college a good decision? And then you could obviously, like, answer, yeah, if you want to go to college, then you should go to college, and if you, like, don't want to go to college, then don't go to college. But that's not a meaningful conversation when we're having a prescriptive conversation. We're trying to look at, like, all of the aspects that basically could go
I'm
into
getting
it,
mad again.
and
I'm getting
evaluate
very mad.
and compare these things.
I'm getting very angry. Okay, yes. So I think that it is like
Thank you for telling me,
completely
but next
retarded.
time wait until I'm finished for telling
I
me.
think it's completely. Thank you for not waiting. I think it's completely retarded for like it's just like you're pretending you're not doing the same fucking thing I'm doing. I think it's completely retarded to be like it is good to go to college, period, without having these more nuanced conversations. I think you shouldn't have that conversation. I think it's retarded. No, I think it could be good. It could be bad. I think it could be good to date a woman who has a high body count. It could be bad. It depends on what you want. It depends on what is good for you. That is my entire point.
But you can't say, like, something is, it's generally good. Like, for most people it's probably
No,
good.
that's
Like,
retarded. It's just
but
stupid,
that's what
irresponsible, dumb.
that's
Dumb.
okay, then you think that
Dumb.
prescriptive
Are tariffs
conversations
good?
are bad.
Are tariffs good? Well, you're like on the Trump side. Oh, tariffs are good. Why do you think tariffs are bad? What do
Bro,
you think? Tariffs are bad? No, I'm trying to. You're trying to have a more nuanced conversation. Can't you just admit that you think tariffs are good or bad? What you think tariffs are bad? Huh? We're making a prescriptive claim here. Don't you think tariffs are good or do you think they're bad? That's because we can't have any. We need to be fucking retarded.
bro, you
It's the
can
same argument that you're making.
you
It's all the fucking Trumpers. Or you're making the same retarded argument that they're making. 100%. You can laugh about it, but that's what you're doing.
you can have you can refuse to have that conversation. You know that, right? Like, you don't,
I'm
like,
refusing.
yeah, that's totally fine. Like, that's totally fine. But you said that, then you can just say, okay, I refuse to have, like, a
Well, I'm going to
prescriptive
point it out. But I
conversation.
would like to. I'd like no, yeah, but
No, no,
no.
no,
You can
no,
have a
man.
prescriptive conversation. You can have a prescriptive conversation. So
But
someone
you've
says,
just said
"Is
it. Like,
college good? Is college good?" And then I could. There's a lot that I could say about that, and I would ask them a bunch of questions. I would say, "Well, it's good for if you in this situation. It'd be bad for you in this situation." Similarly, they could have a conversation, a prescriptive conversation about if dating somebody with a high body count is good. I would say it depends. I need to learn more. Similarly, you could have another conversation. Are tariffs
but
good?
that's not a
And I could say,
possibility. You
yes, I need
can't
to
have a
learn more.
debate like
So
that. You can't have a debate like that. Like if you're having a debate about a prescriptive statement, then you basically, the only thing you can do is basically you can list out a bunch of possibilities in which in bunch of context in which it is in
I
which
guess
man, don't stop
I'm trying to
interrupting me,
debate
man.
them.
Man, stop interrupting me, please. Like,
Don't
come on. You can have a bunch of different things that you list, and then you can compare them, and then you can look at which side has basically won.
I've never
Like
once
that would
interrupted
be
you and
a,
missed anything.
that would be a prescriptive debate
I've never
between two
once
people.
interrupted
I
you
don't
in this
care. I
conversation
don't
and missed
care.
anything.
I don't care.
I
I think
know,
it's
but
like
that's why
base
I don't
respect.
care, because it's about the
Man, I
conversation.
think
It's
it's
not
like
about your
base respect.
feelings.
Base respect.
I know, but
Shut
the
up when
base
I'm
respect
talking.
destroys the stream.
I don't care about your stream. If you don't like the stream, then
I
just end
know.
it. I've
I know you
asked you
don't.
multiple times to end the stream if you want. I've given you the out like many times. Then stop
You
fucking
have not,
complaining
but
about
you
your
have
stream.
now.
Okay.
No, if you can leave, but I'm not leaving. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
Okay, I feel like that's like supposed to be like humorous and entertaining, and I don't dislike it, but I also think that it's not really productive for the conversation. I don't dislike it on a personal level, but I also feel like you're trying to derail the conversation. You're trying to not have the conversation. That's what you're actually trying to do. So yeah. And then again, it makes me ask you. This behavior makes me ask you: do you want to have this fucking conversation? If not, if you don't want to have this conversation, then don't have it. If you do want to have it, then stop saying it's boring. Stop derailing the conversation with jokes. Like, then have the conversation.
So yeah, so I'm just so the thing is, I'm a very deconstructive person. So if you ask me, if you're telling me, do you want to do a stream where we investigate if it is good or bad to date a woman with a high body count, I'm gonna be like, well, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna be deconstructive. That's what I do. That's what's gonna happen. And so yeah, maybe like there's like some like technicality. Oh, I'm not engaging in the debate in the purest sense in the way that it should. Like I'm destroying the debate. Yeah, because I'm fucking acid. That's what they asked me to do. I knew that was going to happen. That's what happened.
So that's not what we're talking about. We are now having like the actual. We're talking about the thing that should have happened after the guy reached out with an olive branch to you and asked you to have the prescriptive conversation. That's what we're basically like right now talking about. We're talking about how a conversation like that could have looked. And one part would have been to have like the ethical conversation, the moral conversation. In this part, we seem to be in agreement that it's not morally wrong to not be with a girl that has like hundreds of partners.
Are tariffs morally wrong?
Exactly, like that's
a fucking retarded question.
No, it's not. Like if you would look at the debate, like
No,
if are tariffs bad for like the U.S. economy? Like that would be a prescript. Like that would be a question, right? That question could be debated between two economists, and then they would point out all the scenarios in which it would be,
right.
And then they would point out why this is which scenario is applicable for the US right now into 2025, right? Like there will be a productive, meaningful, prescriptive conversation about tariffs if tariffs are good.
Why did you have an issue?
I expect
Why did you have
the
an
same
issue with me doing that with women having a high body count?
Because you were not ready to basically go the second step to compare basically the different scenarios and how applicable and how common they are basically.
So when I ask you
in people,
what is the problem that you have with a woman having a high body count? We're gonna decide what the scenarios are. What exactly is going on with you that would make this a bad situation. Similarly, we could ask, what is going on? What is the state of affairs of the United States? What is the state of affairs with Japan? Do we want to have a tariff with there? Is it the right thing for the United States to have a high tariff with Japan?
You would be the wrong question, like saying like, what is your problem? My problems are not really important for the debate, because what we're talking about like is a general prescriptive debate. That's why it wouldn't make sense for
Okay,
you
so
and the guy.
you means
You and
it's
the
a
guy.
prescriptive view. We're talking about a
Mm,
prescription.
what is a
Prescription. When I say
prescriptive view?
you, I'm
Like,
giving a prescriptive view. So I'm saying that what is your problem? Why would it be a problem for you to date a woman with a high body count? Would it be a problem?
it's not a
Maybe it
problem
won't.
for me.
Maybe
It's
it'll
not
be a
important.
benefit, but we need
Like,
to investigate that. So there are situations in which it might be a problem. So one of them that I laid out was that maybe it would make you feel bad, and that's perfectly valid. And maybe you shouldn't date a woman with a high body count if it makes you feel bad. Maybe you're worried that she'll cheat on you. Maybe it's more likely that she will be more likely to cheat on you, and that's a potentiality, and that's something that you will have to investigate. So maybe as a heuristic, it's like maybe you're gonna be more averse, but not completely closed off to a woman with a high body count. Maybe it's that you're worried about her mental health or her childhood. Maybe it's something like that. Similarly, I give a similar answer. Maybe it's something to think about. Maybe it's something to be wary of. But it shouldn't. In my opinion, that doesn't necessarily mean it's an excluder. But it's a heuristic or a suggestive thing. But that doesn't mean like that's not a be all end all. So that's what I would say.
sure. But to
Similarly,
have
you could have the
this,
same conversation about tariffs.
but to have this debate in a meaningful way, you would then have to basically come to a position. Have either you can refuse to have that debate, or you can come to basically a comparative conclusion where you give a prescriptive statement about either, yes, I think most people should do that. I think it's generally it's a good thing that men choose the way they choose, that generally that most men are aligned, like the thing that they're doing actively, like the descriptive thing, aligns with the thing that I think is prescriptively also correct, or you disagree with that. And that would have been the discussion you would have had with your opponents.
You can't have a more nuanced kind of conversation like you would have to have with tariffs. So the conversation has to be boiled down to, are tariffs good or are they bad? You have to say yes, or you have to say no,
Yes.
or else you're unable to engage in the debate. Yeah, so
Yes, that
that's
would
just
be
stupid.
the only way that would
Any
be, but then it
conversation-
wouldn't be a
any
debate.
conversation
No.
that's-
A conversation
Any
is something
conversation
else.
that's stupid, I'm going to make
No,
less
no,
stupid. And
that's
if
a
you say
debate.
that's wrong, I don't care.
No, I'm talking about you are sitting there and you're engaging in a debate, and you are basically accepting the challenge of debating to other people. And if that's going to be a prescriptive thing that you're debating, then that's how it would have to look like. You can refuse
Well,
that.
I guess
That's
then
totally
I
fine.
failed at debate because I'm tried to make it into something else. I don't care. I don't care. That's what I was there to do. That was my plan. That's the conversation I wanted to have. That's the debate or lack of debate. That's what I was going to do. So it doesn't matter. That's it. Like if you present me with a stupid question, like are tariffs good or are tariffs bad? And if you add more nuance, then you're not engaging in the debate that we asked you to engage in. Then I'm going to say either you can not have me, or I'll come, and then I'm going to say, well, it depends on what you want to happen. Is it good for there are situations where tariffs are good. There are situations where tariffs are bad, and we can talk about all those things. And that's what I'm happy to do because I'm not a fucking retard.
So you would refuse to have
I'm so sorry
you have
that it's not a
prescriptive
debate
debate.
the way you
But that's
wanted
totally fine. Like that's totally fine. I would maybe act in this, like I would probably not take that debate either. I would also be like, man, I don't want to make like a prescriptive argument about that. I'm just laying out, man, I don't see why you get so offended. Like I mostly
Also,
don't
I
even.
wasn't told that. Also, I wasn't
I
even
don't
told it
even
was a debate. I was
disagree.
told it was a panel. I was told it was a panel with opposing opinions. It wasn't
Okay,
framed to
sure.
me as a debate. So I wasn't going in like, oh, I have to take like I was like my partner's a retard for taking the extreme affirmative. Oh, it's always good for women to have a high body count. No, I'm in here to have a more interesting, intellectual, thoughtful, thought-provoking conversation that's not fucking stupid. And that's what I was there to do. And so if you think that it's wrong of me to, or I failed in some sense by not engaging in the most dumb fucking way I possibly could, I just don't care.
I've not even said that. I've just said that there would have been the options that would have opened themselves to you, and that was the options that you basically didn't take. So basically you did exactly what you should have done. Like, or maybe on the moral side you would have been but you probably wouldn't have disagreed with them either, so probably It was good that you call, like, from your perspective, if you just want to create an entertaining show without like make like call everyone a retard and blah blah, then you basically achieved your goal.
I don't
I don't
just
even
want to
say.
call everybody a retard. It's just that I don't care. It's not that I just want to only be entertaining and call everyone a retard. I want to talk about things that are important to me. It's just that in talking about things that are important to me, the most important thing is the conversation, and it's not like me people pleasing or pandering to the person I'm talking to's feelings. I want them to be I want the thing that they care about to be the conversation. And I think and I want the thing that I care about to be the conversation. And so often these things get devolved into taking care of each other and licking wounds and all this other bullshit. And I just want to take the position of burning to the ground for the sake of the conversation, or just not having it, or just having off stream. It's a stream, the conversation.
In that same,
and I'm not great. I could do better. I'm not perfect, but that's my aspirational perspective. Those are my values in a stream.
yeah,
I'm holding a kneaded eraser because it's from that drawing. I have a kneaded eraser.
uh, I think that men and women are both both share a type of disgust for like the previous partners. Like they both hold like negative emotions towards that to a certain extent, and also to the amount of previous partners from like different aspects. I think that goes for both genders. Like this idea of your partner having already had this situation like 100 times, like 100 times falling in love, 100 times like having an argument and then making up, and like all of that like reduces, like feels like it reduces. I think most people think that way, and most people feel that way, that it reduces the value of the experience that they're having with the partner, not only in relating to sex, also in other terms, in other topics of their life.
If you feel that way and that affects how you feel, you shouldn't do it.
I know. That's the boring add-on that you always keep adding, that makes it like that's the list, right? Like the list is already implying that all of these things are possible. Like, and I'm saying that everybody has this base. Like some people don't have it, but most people have that to a certain extent, and then it gets covered up.
Maybe
and then it gets covered up.
Like there's a lot
Man,
to
can
talk
I
about
finish
there.
it?
There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, but then you can talk.
There's
You
a
can
lot
talk.
to talk about.
But then you can talk about that once I'm finished.
But the thing that's the problem with these
once
debates,
I'm finished, no, it's not a debate.
You're trying to maintain the purity of what this debate type of thing is.
It's not a debate.
Like, there's a lot to talk about there, but you want to stop me from talking about it. You don't want me to talk about it. Because like,
you don't want me to talk about it, because I just started to lay out something to you and you just interrupt me. I don't know why you do that. It's like,
okay, so then let's talk about it. So maybe
no, I don't want you. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear you. I want you to. I want you to.
I
shut
know,
up.
because you don't want to actually have a conversation about it.
I want you to shut up and let me finish this train of thought. That's all I want right now. I think that both men and women both have this disgust. Shut up.
Do you want me to talk about it or
shut
fucking
up.
not?
I have to continue to express this thought.
The rage. People wonder why I get mad.
Man, like if you don't want to, like as I've said, if you don't want to have it, let's not have it. But I want to finish this thought.
I do. I really do.
You have not started anything. You have not started anything. God. I just talked, and I want you to shut
talk
the fuck
about
up.
it. I'd love to talk about it. I'm so ready. I'm so ready.
Will you let me finish this?
Why don't I just talk about it? Why don't we just talk about it?
Okay.
So
people have this disgust.
Maybe that feeling.
No, Smeth. I'm sorry. I don't want to continue like this. This is not cool. Like I've asked you like politely.
So you don't want to have the conversation.
No, not like this. No. Like if you don't let me finish this thought, then let's just call it a stream.
Finish the thought, and let's see if it's actually anything you're gonna add anything extra. Because I don't care. I'll give you $50 if you add anything
I want
extra.
You to shut
Please,
up
for the motherfucking God.
I want you to shut up. Okay. I think that this base disgust exists in both men and women, but where the asymmetry starts is when some things cover up this disgust. And I think that mainly for women, like having men seeing men, like for many women, seeing men having multiple sex partners is a signal of like a signal of things that they like, is a proxy for other things that they like, and then it basically creates this hate love thing between, like it makes it not only purely negative, and that doesn't exist similarly with men, I think. It's not really a proxy for a bunch of other things that men like about women, and therefore I think like the actual crux of the question that is in the debate question is basically, it's hinting to an asymmetry, which your opponents were trying to ignore the whole time. They were like, we just have to prove the affirmative. We don't care about men. We don't care about men. We just care about women right now. But actually, the question has implicitly baked in a question about asymmetry between men and women. And I think there is an asymmetry between men and women, and that's also, I think, the thing that we are actually interested in this whole debate. Like that's the crux of it, I think. All right, that's my take on the.
What is the
whole
asymmetry?
Thing. The asymmetry is that there is that there is proxies, like that having multiple sex partners, like having previously had multiple sex partners as a man, is a signal, is a proxy for basically something that women like a lot in men, like the capability of being able to get a lot of women seems to be a proxy for a lot of other things.
I see. So yeah, so I think I would still say the same thing I was about to say is maybe that might be biological to some extent, but I think that it's perfectly, like, there are people, just because it's biological doesn't, I don't think it's completely biological. I think that it's perfectly it's sociologically explainable. If it's biological 100%, there's no conversation to be had, or we can just debate on if it is biological or not. But I think there's a lot that you can talk about. Well, is it helpful that you feel really jealous learning that your girlfriend has had a lot of other partners? Maybe there's nothing you can change about that. Maybe that is something that's core to you. So you maybe will just have to not date somebody that has a lot of partners. Maybe you'll end up being happier if you get over that. Maybe you can't get over it. I don't know. Like maybe you meet the person of your dreams and you learn that they've had a bunch of past partners and then you're unable to love them anymore, and that destroyed, like, that's really bad for your life. So maybe you should work on that if it's possible. These are things you can do. That's what I think.
I mean, the question, I'm not really like a gender abolitionist or something like that. I really actually enjoy the differences between men and women. And I'm not really, like, I also don't dislike the asymmetries between men and women. But if that's something that bothers you, that asymmetry, like, I think like the problem is not the men having problems with, like, the problem is not the men in this scenario who have problems with the previous partners of their girlfriends. I think the problem are the women that have like, that don't have a problem with that, because it's being basically like, I know that all of my past girlfriends have had some problem with me having, like, when I was talking about, or when someone was mentioning my ex-girlfriends or something like that. So, or me having something with another girl, like every time, like I could feel that they were like really bothered by that. But in the same sense, I could also feel that it increased like my, like they it somehow also increased my status for them. I That's just the way I feel. Maybe I'm just making that up, but I think that's absolutely true, that and also it has like a, just from a sex perspective, there's also an asymmetry, that a guy that has had like lots of experiences is going to be better in bed statistically, right? So that's also another like incentive for women to select a guy that has had multiple sex partners, because like if it's his first time, he's probably come in like 2 seconds, right?
I think there is an asymmetry, but I don't know if it's biological or sociological. But I think women are afraid of being raped, and you having had a lot more partners means that you've been vetted by more women, and that psychologically has an impact. I don't know if that's because they're predisposed to have that, or if they're just smart because they're humans and
Sure,
that kind of just works their way in as they develop. But yeah, I think that exists, and men are not afraid of being raped, so
sure.
they don't have to select for women that
That
have
might
had
be.
more partners.
I agree. I agree. But as I said, like the thing that is actually bothering people, I think, in this question is not at all like the problem with increased value through body count or decreased value to body count. The actual thing that is bothering people is the asymmetry between man and woman. No one would fucking talk about this if it weren't for that. Like that's the actual, like that's the dishonesty about the question, I think, that bothered me the
Sure.
most. And I
Well,
think like if you want to fix the asymmetry,
Sure.
the way to fix the asymmetry right now, what we do socially is to shame men for having, like at least in our circles and progressive circles, is to shame men for having these feelings. Instead, what we should do is to remove all the reasons why women are not having these feelings. That's the way I see it.
What do you mean remove the reasons women are not having these feelings?
Yeah, so for example, you've mentioned like the fear of being raped, right? And if they would not have that fear of being raped, like one incentive of selecting a man that has been vetted by a lot of women would fall away, right? Like they would not have
They
a.
still might have those feelings. They still
But
might have those
I'm
feelings.
saying it would be good to take these feelings, like there would be a positive approach, like to, if we would remove that, they would more freely be able to, they would not be as ambiguous about their husband having had a lot of girlfriends before. Like don't you see that look on the face of an older woman? Like imagine like a woman in their 40s when she's like talking about her husband and she's like, hey, he was a real playboy when he was younger, you know? And she has this like smile and like also this little bit of anger, you know? And that's like, I think that describes like perfectly like the way women feel about their men having had a lot of sexual partners. And it's like both a hate and love thing. And if we just remove all the things that make them love it, I think that would create equality without like forcing someone to abolish their feelings. Whereas in the other case, I don't think it's really possible to turn off that anger or disgust about our partner's previous relationships.
You don't think it's possible for men to turn that off?
Yes, absolutely. I don't think it's possible. Like let's say it like that. There is guys that enjoy basic like cuckoldry, obviously that exists like on the far spectrum, like on the other end of the spectrum, like, and somewhere in between there's guys that don't care, or you know, but
I
think like always when that's the case, but sorry, but always when that's the case, like when they either don't care about it, or they're like even enjoying it, there is always something else that is making them do that. Whereas the negative feeling is innate and base and comes from basically all the like comes
I feel
from
like
a
you
very.
don't really want to have a conversation with me. I think you just want to say that. I just think you want to say the things you think.
I announced it like that. I announced it previously. I announced it like that, and I want to get now. I announced it to you that I just want to say that, and I'm ready to take feedback on that. So I'm ready to get that challenged, basically.
I don't see it the same way as you.
Okay. In what ways do you think
I
that
could
is
tell
wrong?
you how I see it, but then you're gonna say that I'm like changing it or something. But I
No, I
just
would
have a
love
different way
to,
of seeing
like,
it.
if you don't have anything to say to exactly what I've said, like if you don't have anything to criticize or do you think is wrong or add, you know, like, then that's totally fine as well. But you can just, I would love that to be acknowledged. Just, you can just say, I don't have anything to add. I don't have anything to criticize. I would just like to say
I
something as well.
disagree. I have a
And that's
different
totally fine.
perspective.
Okay. In what
I have a
in
different perspective.
in what respect do you
Usually
disagree
you
with
just go
me?
back and like, in
Yeah.
middle of the conversation, you stop and you go, this is what I think, and you kind of work it around. But
In what way
all right, well,
do you disagree?
I think that it's totally possible to I think that jealousy is existent in everybody always. That but in a woman thinking about men's past sexual history, woman see like, oh, she likes that she's heard that he's had a lot of sex. There's a lot of things that go into that. Like immediately at the top of my head, old woman talking about her husband being a really real lady killer back in the day. A lot of things are going through her head. For one, he's been vetted by a lot of women, so that may mean that he's more trustworthy. For two, it means that it makes him look good because generally people think guys are cool when they have sex with a lot of women. So that makes him look cool. So having a cool husband makes her look cool. So that's another thing. And also, especially considering the context of the time period back in the day, people weren't so progressive. So having a lot of sex means maybe he was a little bit more rapey. Maybe so she's imagining that in her head. She's like, oh, but even though he's been vetted by more women, is that really true? Maybe he was a real fucking asshole to a bunch of women. Maybe he was like a womanizer, you know? So that's so like, oh, he's kind of cool, and I like that he's been vetted by other women, but also maybe he's a fucking asshole. Maybe he's also a creep for that too, and also it makes me jealous too. And all these feelings are things that go into her head, and I think that those same feelings apply to men. And there may be some biological predisposition for more of those feelings to occur in a more abstract sense, simply by brain structure or chemistry or what have you. But those same feelings are the same ones that apply in men and the same ones that apply in women. But except that men are not concerned about vetting for rape. Another thing is, like he's maybe another one I didn't add is another feeling could be that this person. So the old woman talking to her husband. Well, he used to have he's had a lot of partners. That means she could be saying, oh, he's really good in bed. He can make my clit do things that no one else could. That's another thing that she could be saying.
Wait,
But
but
there's
in
there are
what way
things
is
that
that?
occur in both men and women.
No, I agree with you 100 million%. I don't see where our disagreement would be there.
I think that you are. I'm saying that I don't know what the extent of the difference between men and women is just that women get raped.
I don't think that's the only one. I think there's a bunch of other ones as well. Like as I've said, like with performance in bed, like that increases with the amount of sexual partners for men, right?
And women.
I think that the asymmetry there is biological, where a man has to already have a base pleasure in order to perform the act, whereas the woman doesn't have to. So, bro, I don't have to. You're an adult. I'm sure you've had your fair share of experience. I mean, there is an asymmetry in orgasms with women, right? Like, and I agree with you that woman that I agree with you that experienced women will be more capable of giving themselves orgasms. I agree with that 100%. And that makes it also more fun for the both of you, right? So they're more.
You've never experienced the difference between a really good and a really bad blowjob? Like it's night and day.
Yes, but the that is something that could be achieved like within that relationship, right? But actually that could be achieved for the man as well.
It's experience helps.
Yeah, so you could get that
the
experience
better you get.
from the same relationship as well. I agree. But yeah, I guess maybe sexual experience isn't that good of an example. But I think the biggest asymmetry you pointed, the biggest asymmetry that I think is there is that men don't have to be very like the best mating strategy for men is to basically impregnate as many women as possible, and the best mating strategy for a woman would be, from an evolutionary standpoint, would be to pick really like one really good one every 9 months. So I think there already you have like the biggest and strongest asymmetry yeah, in how they are going to evaluate
yeah, that might lead to some different predispositions which are more abstract.
But that actually goes against my own point, I think, if I think about it. Because that would assume that probably because of that they have a lower base discussed for the previous sex partners, because it's more, so it's probably not equal. The discuss is not equal, as I've said before. it might, the asymmetry might already start there. But yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I personally, when I learned that women has a high body count, um, I am not. That doesn't like really make me very jealous. I just I the only thing is that it means like that I would like okay, that's a prompt for me. That's something we're gonna have to talk about. So does are like so if we are monogamous, is that going to be a problem for you? If not, like I mean, I will judge you based on your behavior, and if I think that's actually going to be a different like than when you present yourself. But yeah, I it means I'll be like, oh, maybe she can give her actually a good blowjob because so many women are so bad at giving blowjobs. It's like awful. Getting blowjobs kind of sucks usually. But I mean, I don't know. Like it's just like a lot of different thoughts would run through my head, and none of them is like really. I hate it when I tell women stories about my past sexual experiences. I've gone on a lot of adventures with women on Tinder. And I have a lot of stories about things I've done with women that I met on Tinder. And then some women are like, you keep telling me these about these stories, but I don't want to hear those. It make me feel bad. And I'm like, but I'm with you. And the same thing with them. If they have stories about like men, I mean, there's part of me I think it gets a little jealous, but it's I feel like that's oh, I'm okay with it.
I've just like, I don't want to change the
Unless I'm
topic.
not.
I don't want to change the topic, but like the thing that I would like to add there is like, I'm really torn about how much I want to speak about my personal life on stream. Like, and I realize that sometimes when I'm in the heat of the conversation, I'm like really I'm starting to talk about my personal life. Like I just did like 10 minutes ago. But generally I feel like I don't know, I don't really feel that comfortable to talk about it. So I would love to like, that would be one big difference about me on stream and me being in real life. So if we would sit in a bar right now, then I would probably directly give you my experience. But I think like, because I'm on stream,
Got it.
I don't do that. um
I think I do get a little jealous, but also I get jealous, but then like I'm like I want to know. I get jealous if I think that she's gonna like leave me, but if I don't think she's gonna leave me, then I don't get jealous. Like the times when I've gotten jealous learning about a woman's past history have been times when she was kind of fleeting or like unavailable, and it turns out that the relationship ended. Like so, I was kind of intuitively correct to be jealous. So yeah, that's the only times I feel like I've got it in tune. I've got it worked out.
I'm not even sure if like jealousy, I'm always really torn about the word jealousy. I'm not even sure if jealousy is the correct word. I feel like it could be uh I couldn't even point directly to what it would be exactly. I think probably a part of it would be, yeah, probably disgust would be part of it. And also like intrusion, like as if someone is intruding into the intimacy that I have with my girlfriend. I think that's a big part of it,
Well,
like feeling
I
like
just
there's an
realized what it
intruder.
I realized what it is that I feel. That's not jealousy. It's so if a woman's talking about like having been in like an orgy or something like that, part of me is like it's lack of self-confidence, or it'll be like um like can I really live up to that? You know what I mean? That's what it is. It's insecurity that makes me feel uncomfortable. And then I talk about that, and I'll just be like, well, so let's talk about when we have sex,
Wait,
and what
what
do you like?
exactly is insecure about you feeling bad about your girlfriend
So I
being in an
learned. So
orgy? Like
I learned that
what is the
she's like she tells me she gets this wild look in her eyes, and she's like, you know, I've had some crazy like I've been in like orgies like with men that are really experienced and I'm like and in my head I'm like, oh wow, like that sounds great, but like you're it's the way by the look in your eyes, I'm getting the impression that That's something that's beyond my capabilities. And in that case, I might need some reassurance that she loves me, and that if I'm not that good, then like let's work on it. I want to take a master course college class on eating your clit and making it real good, fucking that pussy, hitting that fucking back wall real good. We're gonna make this, and so so that'll like kind of ease my insecurity. Like, okay, it's a project. Like if I want to be good. You've had it good. Well, let's make sure we can continue having good sex, and I really appreciate the same in return too. So it's like I want to be able to suck your dick real good. You know what I mean? It's like yeah, let's work on this. It's like like you've had we both have had better. So let's fucking figure this out. You know what I mean? So
I always realize like how basically I would consider myself like leftist progressive to a certain extent, but like emotionally I'm probably pretty conservative. So I don't know. It would be I don't know. It's maybe also a cultural thing a little bit, but it's really really hard for me to imagine like that. Like the last thing that I would think about would be my performance when I would hear from my girlfriend that she has been in an orgy. Like that would be like it would feel like to be honest, it would be like a nightmare. And I don't know if I could like because I would have this image in front of me, and I don't know if it might even like I shouldn't even say that, but like it might even ruin like I don't know how I'm going to be in that situation, but it might even like ruin like everything I feel for her. Like it would be like the last thing that I would think about would be, okay, how can I perform now in a way that like that would be like the last thing that I would think about.
But I kind of get the feeling like how that could ruin it, but for me it would ruin it if I didn't bring that up and like how that relates to what we're doing right now. And so that's how I would get over that. I mean, I feel like it brings up questions that have to be talked about in the relationship. So that's the hurdle. And also like it's like did you're with me now and you love me, did being with them make you love them, or what is actually going on? There's a lot of complex things happening, so gotta figure it all out.
I agree.